Number 38 has started with telling us that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, which is congruent to angle 3. And that was our given information. So the first thing I'm going to do is just mark that in our picture. Angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, which is congruent to angle 3. For this one, we are trying to prove that we have a parallelogram with RSTU. So one way to do that is to show both pairs of opposite sides are congruent. In this problem, that might be pretty difficult to do because they don't give us anything that would give us an indication that the sides are congruent to each other. So then if we move on to our second pair, we could say that both pairs of opposite angles are congruent. We could do this one. We would have to add in 2 more angles, and we would have to use our linear pair postulate and talk about angles being supplementary with each other, but that one would be a lot of steps and it would get pretty confusing when we got into it. So we're not going to use that property either. And then another one, we could say both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So to prove lines are parallel, if you remember back to that chapter, we had to prove that we had congruent corresponding angles, alternate exterior, alternate interior angles, but we had to show an angle pair relationship. And if we look at this one, they told us angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And if RS and UT were parallel with each other, that would be corresponding angles are congruent. So because they are congruent, we can say that. So we know RS is parallel to UT. And for that one, we can say the corresponding angles are congruent, which implies parallel lines. Then, if we look, angle 2 and angle 3 would also be an angle pair. Those ones are alternate interior angles. And those are between lines RU and ST. So we can say RU is parallel to ST. And we can put that alternate interior angles congruent implies that we have parallel lines. Now, if we mark all of this on our diagram, we showed that RU is parallel to ST, and we showed that RS is parallel to UT. So we showed that both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. So now we can say that RSTU is a parallelogram. And the reason is because both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. And because they're parallel, that implies we have a quadrilateral. And that would be the end of this proof.